In this video, we're going to implement possibility to pin the posts on the user's profile page or on the group's profile page. Obviously, only admin users will be able to pin posts on the group's profile page. That is also a perfect example how things sometimes work in real world. We started absolutely different approach and ended up with absolutely different approach at the end of the video. But finally, we had a great result. Just we spent a little bit more time than I estimated initially. Now let's comment everything what we changed in our previous lesson, and that was related to implementing the preview of the URL. Implement preview of the URL. We have everything selected. I'm going to click on commit here. 4 files were committed. Let's refresh this folder. Okay, there are some more files, so let's click amend. I'm going to include everything in a single commit message. So implement preview of the URL. Now let's click amend. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to implement another functionality, and this is going to be ability to pin the post in the user's profile page or in the group profile page. So if the post belongs to me, and if the post basically is not for the group, I should be able to pin the post. Whenever then someone checks my profile page, there will be this pinned post, and the pinned post basically will be at the very top always. And the same thing should happen on the group page. Okay, let's close everything. And I'm going to open a post item, and here we have this edit delete dropdown, and I think we need to add this inside this edit delete dropdown. Here we have this menu item to open the post. This is to copy the URL of the post, and this is to edit the post, and we have this variable if edit is allowed. Okay, and what defines if the edit is allowed? Edit is only allowed if the post belongs to the user, which is authenticated right now. The pinning of the post should also be possible only if the user is authenticated. When the post belongs to the user, when the post is not posted inside the group. If the post is written inside the group, then all the admin users should be able to pin the post. So let's create new menu item, which is going to be pin, and we are going to use this pin icon. We don't have the pin, the exact pin icon I'm looking for. There's this site flat icons, which has a lot of icons actually. So I'm going to search for pin. There are a ton of such icons, and this is the icon I want. There are many such icons, but I'm going to get this one or this one. Let's click on this. The SVG is basically for the premium users, so I cannot actually download this SVG. What I can download is the 16 pixel version. This requires attribution. Okay. Sometimes it is very hard, very simple thing. Sometimes it's so hard. I want free SVG pin icon. Free SVG pin icon. Not this one. Go in the pictures, Let's open how this looks like. This is not ideal, I know. Let's view the source, and I'm going to get this XML part. This is what I want. So I'm going to copy everything, then go here, and I'm going to paste it here. Let's format the code. We're going to remove this XML, and this is our icon, the pin icon. And this edit allowed if is something we need to probably adjust. So if I save this right now, we see this huge pin icon, which we have to adjust. Let's give it 16 pixel. 16 pixel. I think it is not going to work. Or it is. I don't know. It seems to be working. However, the menu item needs to be moved to the right side. So I will give this one CSS class margin right 3, like this. Okay, not bad. Whenever I click the pin icon, it should emit the event pin. We need to define this in the events area. However, should we show pin or not? This should be a computed property right here. Pin allowed. That should be allowed if the post user is the currently authenticated user, or if the post group exists and post group has this role admin. Do we have post here somewhere? We do have, but we need to access it through props post. So if the currently authenticated user is the owner of the post, or if the post group exists and the current user has admin role inside this. So then we have this pin allowed, and right here we're going to use this pin allowed, which will trigger this pin. And at the moment I see this pin available here, which is great. Yeah, we need to change the color of the pin as well. It stays dark. On mouse over we change the text color, but this still has the color. Where is its styles? What if I provide color inherit? No. This is done differently. Okay, I don't like this pin icon, so unfortunately I have to use this icon, which is not the proper one, but later I might replace it. And this is called a map pin. So we need to import this map pin icon. Like this. Let's provide margin right 2, width and height. Okay, good. This is not the pin or what I want, but anyway, when I click on this pin, it emits to the parent, and from the parent I'm listening to edit and delete. So I need to listen to pin and call pin unpin post. Now let's create this function pin unpin post. we are going to send the post request to pin that post, but we need also the post ID, which we have right there. So what we need probably is to send this to the Axios. I'm thinking how we're going to do this. So I hit the pin, then what should happen? It asks me if I really want to pin this post. Every other pin post will be, if there is any other pin post, that's going to be removed. Then I confirm, and then it does it. So Axios client, I'm going to make the post request. We're going to send and make the request to some URL. Let's define the backend side, web PHP. We need post and the action. Well, we need a variable here, post, and pin. So we are doing this inside the post group. So the final URL will be post, the post ID, pin. Then we are going to have right here pin, post pin, that's going to be the name. And we can simply call this function pin unpin, or we can do the same thing, unpin, pin, unpin. Okay, we need to create that function. So I will create this at the very bottom. It should be public function pin unpin. We're going to accept request. We are going to accept actual post. Okay, we don't have right now that new column inside the posts table, so we're going to create that. PHP artisan make migration add pinned, let's call this pinned column to posts table. Let's open this migration, add pinned column to posts table. Then from the table, we're gonna add column, which will be Boolean column, pinned, and we can provide default will be false. Okay, and then we're gonna drop this column in the down. Drop column, pinned. Okay, cool. Now let's execute the migration, PHP artisan, migrate. So this column, pinned column, was added with the default value false. Let's open now post.php. We're going to add this right here inside fillable. Then in the post controller, we accept the post and we accept the request. What we need to do is we need to check basically if the post, or maybe we don't even need to check, we just need to set post post pinned equals not post pinned. Then we're going to call post save. We're going to return with response, and we're going to return the updated post, probably new post resource, passing the post, and that's it. The only thing what we need to do here is to make this check if the current user has this permission to change the pinned post status. So what I need to do is to check if post is owner, we're going to provide the auth ID, or we also need is admin, or What methods do we have? We have this isAdmin inside the group, or we need to check if the post has group and post group. Now let's check what methods are available inside the group. IsAdmin. So we need to use isAdmin. By the way, if you're using PHP Storm, or even if you are using VS Code, and it doesn't know that the post group is an instance of a group class. So you can add property on top of the class like this. We can add, this is the package, and let's define properties here. Property group is an instance of group. Now, whenever I'm using this group, now it knows that this is an instance of the group, and I should be able to use that. Why I am not able to use that? Post group, post is post. Sorry, I added this to the group model. I should have done this on the post model. Class post. Now let's see. Okay, here we go. isAdmin auth ID. That should be a function. So if the post is owned by, the method also probably should be called owned by. If this post is owned by this user, or if the post group exists and the group has admin this user, then we allow this process. Okay, we allow updating, and then we're simply returning. Maybe we should return forbidden, return response, you don't have permission to perform this action, with 403 status code. Okay, good. So like this, we don't even need this else statement. Now let's go in the post item, and we're going to make requests to the following route: post pin unpin. Let's provide here. And on success, we need to listen to success. And when this happens, we should also change the status, the pinned status. And we also need to return this pinned status from here, from the post. If it is pinned, this pinned. Then if we go in the edit delete dropdown, we have this pin, but we also need to check right now if props post is pinned, then we are going to show unpin, else we're going to show pin. This is how we are going to do it. Then whenever we get the successful response on the props post pinned status, we need to reverse this. So if it is 1, we're going to change this into false, and vice versa. So now let's see. So we see pin right here. I hit on this pin and we have some error. Post parameter is required for route post pin unpin. That's correct. We need to send which post I want to pin or unpin. Props post. Let's click on pin. Props post ID. Let's provide like this. Post parameter is required for route post pin unpin. Sorry, my bad. We need this here. Pin. Now the request completed with success. And now I see right here unpin. However, I don't have any kind of notifications that the post has been successfully pinned, which probably should be done using Axios. Not the Axios, but basically we have never done showing notification when the request was made through Axios. This is the thing right now. This is something new what we're going to do. We have a lot of new things. So if I hit the unpin, then this works successfully. We see pin right here. So the status is changing basically. I hit the pin again and I reload the page. And I can see that this is pinned, so because I have this unpinned text. So the pin post should be at the top. So I'm going to pin now this at the top, this YouTube link. And whenever I reload the page, that should go at the top. So we are on the user profile page. So if we go in the profile controller, we're selecting posts right here. And we have these posts for timeline. And we are sorting this by latest. Okay, do we use these posts for timeline in many other places? How many different places we are using this? We are using this on the home page, group controller, and profile controller. Understood. By the way, in one of our previous videos, we had implemented this search functionality. I just remember that we didn't do it correctly, that we selected these posts without this with count and with comments and so on. So now this has like, and if I search for hero here, it finds these hero icons, but it doesn't have this count of the reactions, which we need to have. So this post for timeline is something what we need to have inside this search controller as well. So posts for timeline, we need to provide the user ID as well. Yes, we need. Let's provide auth ID. Okay. This latest is something which is used right here, but right now I'm thinking that first I need to sort my pin posts, and then I need the latest. So I will add right here additional parameter, which will be pinned posts false. So let me create query variable here. Then I need to check if pinned post is true, then on that query I'm going to order by pinned descending first and then call latest. So if I'm requesting pinned posts, first I need to sort and get the pinned posts and then sort by date. And we are going to return query from here. And we need to pass the second parameter true from different places. We need to pass this from the profile controller. So we need pinned posts. And we need to pass this from group controller. Right here. So we need to get the pinned posts. However, we are using this in other places such as home controller, but we don't want to get pinned posts on the home controller because this is my main timeline. Okay, and I don't need this, and I also don't need pinned posts in the search page, I will go in the post item, and I'm going to display also this pin icon somewhere. Maybe that should be done. Let's do this next to this drop down. Next to this drop down. So if I wrap this inside a div, that is still visible as it was, but I'm going to write pinned here. Why it is not in the center? Because here we need flex and items center. Okay, and we need to write this text that if the post is pinned, we're going to show pinned, else we are not going to show anything. Question mark was missing. And we also need the icon, right? If I unpin this, then this text is gone. But we also need this icon, which we have in this map, in this edit delete dropdown. So I'm going to get this, and probably I'm going to create template where if a post is pinned, then we're going to show this icon, and we're going to write text pinned. I hit the pin, we see that. Again, the icon is different, where I don't like this icon. Maybe I can find this later. Let's use gap2. Now what I will do is I'm going to pin another post. I don't see my posts here, which is logical. I will go to my profile page, and I am going to pin this. This is actually pinned. So if there are other posts pinned, we need to remove them. That's also a good thing to remember. If we go in the post controller, before we implement this pinned functionality, we need to remove this pinned functionality to from all the users, basically. If post pinned, if the post is pinned, then we can simply set this to be false. However, if the post is not pinned and we are trying to pin this post, we're going to find all the posts okay, here is another thing. When we are trying to pin the post, that post, for example, might be part of the group as well. So I'm just sending the pin request, and it is not very clear for the backend if I want to pin this post on my profile page or in the group page. This is pretty interesting. Okay, what if it will be pinned in basically everywhere? However, if the post has group, let's do like this. If the post has group, the backend will think that we're going to post this, we're going to pin this inside the group. So we're going to find all the other posts inside that group and remove the pinned status from there. Okay, so here let's do the check. If post has group, then we're going to find all the posts where group ID is post group ID. And I'm going to call delete, not the delete, sorry. I'm going to call update. Actually, when I type here query, then the autocompletion is much better, so I prefer to always write there query. So inside the update, I have to provide pinned should be false. Can we write this in a single line? Yes, we can. So I'm selecting all the posts for this group, and I'm updating its pinned status if the post is not pinned, which means that I'm about to pin the post. So in this case, I'm just going to set the pinned equals true, and we're going to call the post save. Okay, what about if the group doesn't exist? So then I'm going to find all the posts where user ID of the post is this currently authenticated user ID, auth ID, and I'm going to update its pin status as well. So I think this can be optimized. So what I will do right now is set pinned equals not post pinned outside of if and else, and we can write this reverse. If post is not pinned, then we do the thing. Okay, if post is not pinned and we are pinning this post, we are going to pin the post. Okay, then we have to unpin every other post inside this group or in the profile page. However, if we are pinning the post, I think we should remove. That's interesting. Yeah, right now, if we pin the post, it is going to, and if the post has group, it will remove all the other posts which is pinned right now inside this group. But it should remove also all the other posts which are pinned for this specific user. This is how we are going to do it. I reload the page and we see now this is pinned, and I am going to remove unpin this one, and whenever I reload the page, I will see that this is now pinned post. Okay, if I hit pin right here, this should become pinned, but everything else, this should become unpinned. So this is something we need to take care of. If I right now reload this page, this is pinned and this is already unpinned. So our functionality actually successfully works. I'm going to reduce this. We have this twice. If I pin that post, it gets pinned. I reload the page and I have only one pinned post, and this is it. So I don't have anything else to be pinned. However, I need to refresh the page. So if this is pinned right now, and if I decide to pin this one, this should move at the top. So what I'm thinking right now is that from the post item, from here, instead of calling Axios client, what about creating form, use form, and then I'm going to call form post. We are going to provide the following route. And let's comment this part. And on the backend side, in the post controller, instead of returning this response, we call go back. We redirect back, and we can provide success message as well. Your post, and we do have this post as well, like post, whatever is the name, post. Well, post doesn't have name. That's the weird thing. Post doesn't have name. So we just have to write post was successfully pinned on top. Something like this. However, if we don't have the permission, then we return with the following response. Okay, let's try this. I reload the page. This is pinned right now. I'm going to create a couple of posts with only single line text. Test 1, submit. Test 2, submit. And we need test 3. Okay, let me unpin this. And we have this error. Pool is not a function. Where is this coming from? From the use form. Is this form used? Okay. Let me search for the other places where I'm using the form, but I didn't need the arguments. That was the place I didn't need. No, this is our function, new function. This is the place I didn't need the argument, but I provided this object anyway. Okay, good. Now let's see. This is pinned, so I'm going to unpin that. Your post was successfully pinned on the top. We need to change this message as well. Pinned or unpinned is depending on the following flag. If the post is pinned right now, then we are going to write was successfully pinned, else unpinned. Post was successfully pinned or unpinned. We can remove this on the top. Okay, now we have this latest 3 posts, and I'm going to pin the test 2. Post was successfully pinned, and we see that test 2 was moved at the top. I think we need to provide right here preserve scroll equals true. I will also add this pinned should have, let's change this into div and let's give it class text extra small. And let's reduce this. Give it flex and items center. And we can remove this margin right as well. And we don't even need this uppercase P. It is pinned post. Okay, now I'm about to pin the post 1. I'm going to hit, and the ordering was changed, and this was moved at the top. Okay, now let's go, and I'm going to log in with the second user, John, who has a couple of posts inside the group, the vue.js developers group. Okay, here we have this couple of posts, and I'm going to pin this. Now this is Mary's post. Can I pin this post? I can do this. So even though this belongs to Mary, I am able to pin this post because I am admin of this group. Let me check one thing. If we go into users, we see John 2 and we see Zura. Okay, let's go back into posts and we need to find these Mary's posts, and I hit on pin. That was moved at the top. Okay, here is the problem. Here is the problem. I was admin and I pinned the post, this post test 7 inside this vue.js developers. But that post would be pinned for the Mary's personal profile page as well. Here we see that. This is the thing. We have to do it slightly differently. We have to do it slightly differently. Okay. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add pinned post ID into group, and I'm going to add this inside user as well. So when I'm pinning something for the user, it's going to be only for the user. When I'm pinning something for the group, it's going to be only for the group. Otherwise, it is not logical right now. Admin of the group was able to pin the post for somebody else, so this is not a good idea. This is not logical. Okay. I don't need this migration, so I will execute rollback step 1. This will remove this pinned column. I even need to delete this migration completely. So let's open this and delete. However, I need one migration, new migration, which is going to be add pinned post ID column to groups and users tables. Add pinned post ID column to groups and users tables. Okay, the table is actually weird. Let's duplicate this. We need to add these to groups, and we need to add these to users. And this is going to be a foreign key from table. We need foreign column will be pinned post ID that refers to posts table, and we're going to make this nullable. Hold on, we need to make first nullable. How can I make this nullable? Let's see how I define this foreign keys. Create post table. It has this foreign ID. Okay, I need this foreign ID. Then I'm gonna do the reference, and then first I have to make this nullable, and then this reference is into posts. Okay, let's do the same thing for users. Pinned post ID, nullable, references to posts, and we're gonna drop, let's duplicate this, we're gonna drop these columns as well. We need table drop column pinned post ID like this and like this. If you're learning something from me, you might want to check my premium course, How to Build E-commerce Website with Laravel and Vue.js, on my website, thecodetoilet.com. Okay, let's execute PHP artisan migrate. Oops. Cannot, syntax error or access violation. Foreign ID, pinned post ID. Nullable, references posts. What is the issue? Okay. Incorrect table name. constrained. We need here constrained. Foreign ID, nullable, constrained. We need to execute migrate. We still have this error. Duplicate column. Okay, the column was added, but it was failed on something. Let's check the groups. There's this pinned post ID which I can delete. And let's execute this. Okay, so that should add pinned post ID on the posts, on the groups, excuse me, and on the users as well. Here we see that. Okay, now let's open post.php and remove this pinned from the fillable. We can't order by pinned. This is something which is not quite right at the moment. So if we have this pinned post ID inside the group and I want to select all the posts for this group, how I can do this? Let's start with the group. Let's go in the group controller. We're selecting the posts for the timeline. What we probably need to do, and we have this weird group IDs something. What we probably need to do is to implement join. We need to do the left join, and we need to join into groups. Let's give it alias G, where group pinned post ID equals to posts ID. But we need to also adjust the order by. So let me write this as a query here. Select everything from posts. We need this left join into groups. G on G pinned post ID equals posts ID. And if I select everything right now, and we need this group ID as well, so let's just provide where G group ID equals whatever 12. We don't have group ID 12. Where's this vue.js developers it has ID 12. No, not the GID, but the posts group ID equals 12. Okay, so it selects this 52 posts. However, if I select everything from the posts, let me give it an alias P, and P here and P here. So I select everything from the posts, but from the groups, I select the pinned post ID, which by default is null, because at the moment we don't have any pinned post. It is always null. Now I'm going to go inside these groups, and basically for the vue.js, I'm going to add this pinned post ID to be 13. Then what I need to do is, so here it is, pinned post ID. So inside order by, I need to sort this by pinned post ID first, and then posts created at descending. Okay, however, this puts this at the very bottom. What if I sort this by descending? is going to put this at the very top. Okay, I think this is what we want. Pinned post ID descending first, and then we have to get them by created. Let me provide different pinned post ID. Let's execute this query now. So this is at the top now, and then we have everything else. When we had this 13, the 13 was at the top, right? And then everything else. Okay, this is how we're going to do it. In the group controller, we did the join. We have this pinned post, which basically means we cannot do this order by here. So we need to remove this order by. What I need to do, just don't apply this latest, because if I call this latest as a first thing, and then if I call order by pinned post ID, then first it will sort by latest. What I need to do is probably change this name of the variable and call this apply or get latest. And by default, this should be true. Get latest. However, if get latest is true, then we call this query latest. However, from the group controller, we're going to pass this get latest to be false. And then when we do this join, we are going to do this order by groups pinned post ID descending and then latest. Okay, the latest basically does order by created it. However, we have this created at column on the groups as well. So it might select this or created it from the groups, or it might fail. Anyway, I'm going to provide this order by posts created at descending. Now this is the correct way how we are gonna get the posts considering the pin post ID. Now if we go in the vue.js developers group right here, and if I reload the page, I see the following post. Everything does not work. Yeah, this is the pinned post, I guess. But we don't display that this is the pinned post. How we are going to do this? Maybe we need to open this group resource, and from the group resource we are going to simply return pinned post ID, which is going to be this pinned post ID. Then if we check in the post item, we should have group here. We have the post, but we also have group, don't we? Yeah, we have the group. However, the post might have group. This post might have group, but it might not be rendered from the groups page. So if I go on the home page right now, I'm on the home page, but I see this group here. So I need to do it differently. I need to get the group from the page props. Const group equals use page dot props dot group. And I can print this group right now. If we go in the console, this is the group. So what I need to do right now is to write an if here. Instead of post pinned, I need to do if group dot pinned post ID is the same as post ID, then we show this message. Okay, now let's try to find out what is this group pinned post ID, or what is the entire group. It has ID. Where's my post? This is it. So this should work. Yeah, and I see this pinned. Okay, so let's finalize the group section. So whenever I go inside the post controller for this pinned method, I need to pass the group identifier that I am pinning that post for this group. So I need to pass the group identifier from the post item from here. It is right here. Let's provide the group ID. This is going to be group.id. So basically I want to pin this post for group. This is the group ID. Actually, let's provide the action. Action, like for group or for user, or because we have only two values, let it be Boolean flag for group equals true. I need to get this for group. So I will go in the post controller, and in the requests I can get this. So if the permission is there, then wait. Let's get this for group. Actually, sorry. For group. Okay, good. Now I need to check that if this is for group, then I'm going to get the post group. So if this is for group, I'm going to get the post group. So I'm going to get this anyway, anywhere, right here. If this is for group, let's take this here. And group is admin auth ID. If it is for the group and if the group exists and the current user is the admin of the group, then on this group we're going to change pinned post ID to equal to post ID, and we are going to save this group. We're going to open group.php model, and we're going to add here pinned post ID, and we're going to open user.php, and we're going to add this here as well. Now, if this is for group and the group exists and the current user is admin inside the group, Then we change the pinned post for this group. Okay, this is great. I think we don't need this part. Then we can do another if. If it is not for group, then we are going to change the current user's pinned post ID. So then we can get the user to be request user, and on that user I'm going to set the pinned post ID is post ID, and on the user we are going to call save. Interesting. By default, this for group will be false. So we are passing this for group if the group exists and if it has ID. Okay, now let's observe this. Let's reload the page. We are on the group page. This is the pinned post right now. I'm going to click. We need unpin here to be displayed. So we're going to open this edit delete drop down, and instead of this props post ID, we need to get the group. We need const group equals use page props group. And then we need this check. If group exists and it has ID, and that ID, not ID, but pinned post ID is the same as props post ID, then we show unpin. Okay, not sure if this is going to work, but let's try. Here I see unpin, so this works. Here I see pin. As soon as I hit the pin here, you don't have permission to perform this action. Okay, why I don't have permission to perform this action? I'm inside the group of the vue.js developers, and I'm about to pin the group. Let's see. I do have permission, definitely, for sure. Actually, this was completed. If I reload the page, that post is already pinned, and this is the other one is not pinned anymore. So actually it worked. So maybe we just need to call back. I will comment this line just in case I need this text. And then I think I copied something. Yeah, this is what I want. Okay, post was successfully pinned or unpinned. What if I try to unpin the post? This is also interesting. Okay, interesting. The pin post ID might already be equal to post ID. So we need to do if, let's check, if group pinned post ID is the same as post ID, we're going to set this group pinned post ID to equal to null. So we are removing the pinned post, else we provide this pinned post. We need to do the same thing for user. If the user's pinned post ID is the post ID, we remove it. Otherwise, we set that. And whether we removed or set, for this, let's define a variable. Okay, but if I define the variable right here, pinned or unpinned, what if this if and not this if was satisfied? Let's say that it is for group, but I don't have permission on this group. Okay, let's do a couple of validation checks. If it is for group and if the group doesn't exist, then I'm going to return something like this. Let's just provide invalid request. It should be probably 400 or yeah, invalid request. Anyway, now we don't need to check if the group exists there. We know that if it's for post, the group must exist. Then we need another check if this is for group and if the current user is not admin for the group, then we need this response. You don't have permission to perform the section. Good. Then we check if it's for a group, and if the admin exists, we do this. And if it's not group, then we do that. So we need now a variable pinned, which by default will be false. And right here, and right here, we're going to set this variable to be true. Then here we need this pinned. Post was successfully pinned or unpinned. Let's try this. This is pinned, and I'm going to pin this one. The post was successfully pinned, but this still stays pinned. Let's reload this page. This should become pinned post. Okay, group's pinned post ID doesn't change, and this is the reason. So this is the first post, which is pinned right now. Let's just pin this one. It actually works, but the group's pinned post ID doesn't change, which is something we should take care of. If we go inside the post item, right here we have this on success, and whenever this happens, we can change group if group exists, obviously. If group exists and if it has ID, then group dot pinned post ID equals to props post ID. No, wait. Yeah. It should be like this. Now if I reload the page, I'm going to see that this is pinned, the keyboard and the mouse is pinned. Now I'm going to pin these laptops, and I see pinned right here and not here anymore. Then I can unpin this as well. It is still pinned at the moment, because we don't know if we did the pin or unpin. We can send the action pin or unpin, or maybe we can do like this: pinned equals group pinned post ID, if that equals to props post ID. Wait, so before I send the request, I need to know that if this group is pinned or unpinned. This group is pinned if its pinned post ID equals the post ID. Okay, that's correct. So then if it is pinned already, so if it is pinned, then obviously we did unpin. So we're going to provide null here. If it was not pinned, then we did the pin, and now we have this props post ID here. Now let's reload the page. Nothing is pinned actually inside this vue.js developers. And let me create these 2 or 3 posts. This is test. Let's provide test 2 and provide test 3. Okay, now let's pin this. Now the first one. Okay, it was moved at the top. Now let's actually remove it, unpin. It was moved down. Let's pin this. It was moved up. Now let's pin this post 3. And now we see both are pinned. Why both are pinned? How is it possible that both are pinned? Obviously, if I reload, both are not pinned. Okay, test 2 was moved up. Now test 3 was moved up. Now test 2 was moved up. Now let's click on the test 1. Okay, it was something temporary, probably. This issue. Test 3. If I edit this, let's provide 1 here. Okay, it got lost. Where is it? It got lost. Seriously, where is that? I just lost the post when I tried to update it. Let's go in the posts. Ooh, it is not easy. I provided a lot of ones there. Let's sort by created descending. The group ID was removed. What just happened? I'm going to edit this. When I update the post, the group ID is lost if I am updating from inside the group. This is pretty weird. By the way, this is the exact same scenario I develop my projects, my production ready projects. I spend a lot of time on the project and find such different things, when I'm doing something different, I discover that there is some bug somewhere else. So the thing is that what do we do incorrectly? So we send this post update. We provide the group ID to be null. During the update, we should not accept group ID at all. If we go in the post controller and find this update, we should not accept group ID at all. I'm pretty sure, because group ID is something which should not be changed. So here I have all these rules. And I'm going to call unset from rules group ID. Let's go in the posts table and provide 12 here and here. Okay, so this is now 1. This is now 2. And this is now 3. What happens? So if when I type something, if I immediately hit this submit button, even though there is typed this content, it gets lost. If I quickly type something and hit the submit immediately, that's very strange. The model maybe doesn't manage to quickly update. We have so many bugs. Post modal. Let's search for CK editor, and I'm going to print what is form.body. Okay, if I quickly provide something and hit the submit button. Okay, so if I'm quickly hitting submit, then you see that vModel doesn't get updated. It gets updated as soon as I release my keyboard. If I start typing like this, there's this debouncing. Not big deal. No one's gonna do that update such quickly I'm doing it, so not big deal. Okay, so this is going to be the third post. I was testing this pin unpin and I just discovered 2 different bugs. So this is pinned. The first one is pinned. I'm going to reload the page and it is pinned. Now let me pin the third one. Okay, here we go. That was moved up. Now I'm going to pin the first one. Okay, that worked. And now I'm going to unpin this. Okay, good. Now let's pin the third one again. And now let's unpin the third one. Okay, so pin and unpin right now works successfully on the group profile page level. But let's test this on a personal page. We have this first error, pinned post ID, group pinned post ID. This is what we are checking right now in the post item. If we go in the post item, not here, but here. So we need that question mark. Okay, maybe no, this is not actually quite accurate. So is pinned. Let's create such computed property is pinned. Where are computed properties? Do I have any computed property here? Computed. Okay, this is only const is pinned equals computed. Okay, and we're going to check if the group exists. It means that we're on the group page. And we're going to do the following comparison. So if group (.id), if that exists, then we are going to return this. Its pinned post ID should equal to, here we need props post ID. In else case, if the group ID doesn't exist, we need to check if it is pinned for the user. But this pinned post ID is only returned from the group resource. We don't return this for the user resource. And if we go inside middlewares, HTTP middleware, we have this handle inertia requests. And here, from here, we are passing this current user, auth user. And this is the place we need to add pinned post ID. This is going to be this pinned post ID. Then from this post item, I think we have this auth user, or we don't have. Let's use auth user. This is going to be auth.user. So auth.user. So if auth user dot pinned post ID, but the auth user might not even exist. If we're checking someone else's profile, he might not even exist. So we need to use this question mark here as well. If the auth user pinned post ID equals to props post ID, then this is pinned. Now let's check this. We see one warning. Type check failed for prop model value. Expected string with value undefined got undefined. This happens inside this authenticated layout. Let's fix this as well. Authenticated layout, we accept this search basically, but if it's an undefined, we need to use an empty string. Okay, this is gone. Now we are on the user profile page. This is my personal profile page. So let's pin these posts. Okay, did it work or not? Let's check the users. John Smith. There's this pinned post ID, so it worked. If I reload the page, this is pinned, but it is on the second position. So we need to go into profile controller, get latest false. We need to join two users. Let's go into group controller, and just like we did this join on the groups, we need to do this join on the users as you, where users pinned post ID equals post ID, and then we need this order by, where users pinned post order by users pinned post ID descending, and then post created at descending. Now if I reload this page, I should see that 2 is pinned. Let's try to pin the first one. Okay, pin was moved up, but I think the authenticated user's pinned post ID is something which was not changed. So if we go in the post item, find this place, pin unpin post, and just like we are doing this, if the group ID doesn't exist, obviously the user ID exists. And then we're going to do auth user pinned post ID is okay. This is also interesting. Let's define let is pinned. It is pinned, by default it is false. If group question mark ID, if that exists, then is pinned equals if the group's pinned post ID is the current post ID. But if the group ID doesn't exist, it is for the user, and then is pinned will be auth user pinned post ID equals to the props post ID. Okay, now let's reload the page again. So the first one is pinned. I'm going to pin now the third one. That moves at the top. It has this pinned message. I reload the page. It stays at the top. Okay, good. I don't like one thing. So this is so it looks like this is created after this. So this is the latest post. Why I don't see this at the top? This one has post ID 106. This one has post ID 107. Wait. This is probably updated it. Yeah, it is probably updated it, but why? I'm thinking, so this post is created later, but this post was updated later. Yeah, this is definitely updated it. No, this has different updated it. Okay, good. Anyway, so I thought that this was the date using which the posts were sorted. Okay, right now I think we have implemented this pin unpin functionality. Yeah, this is something we need to take care of. I need to see unpin here. We need such kind of is pinned inside edit delete dropdown. Is pinned. Let's search for computed properties. Pin allowed, and we need is pinned as well. If the we need to get the current group, which we have right here. If the current group ID exists, then we compare the post into the current group. Otherwise, we compare this into current user. And I think this is correct. Now I see unpin here. I'm going to click on this. It was moved down. And if I check the users table, I see that this was removed. I'm going to pin one of my oldest posts. This is video, by the way. This is maybe broken video. I don't know. Let's pin this one. So this is it. Here we see that it is pinned, and if I click on pin, it is removed from here. Okay, and just like this, we have implemented this functionality for the user's profile page, my personal page, and for the groups as well. It is more common to implement this on the groups. However, I'm going to pin this specific post, which is Mary's post, for the Vue.js developers. We can see that here. But if I try to check the Mary's profile page, I don't have this possibility to pin the post because that is Mary's profile page. If I log out and log in as Mary, and Mary checks the Vue.js developers, what happened? Mary had this permission inside Vue.js developers. Why she doesn't have? Group users. Mary has ID 2. So user ID 2. Okay, it was probably removed from this Vue.js developers recently, I don't know. But doesn't have permission there. Let's log in with second user, which is maybe John 2. John 2. Check his profile page. Okay. John 2 is part of the Vue.js developers, right? So if we pin this post, it is pinned on his own profile. If we check the Vue.js developers, here Mary's post is pinned. Okay, and this same post, which is pinned on the John's profile, is not pinned in the Vue.js developers page. And this is the main thing, what we had differently in the first version of this specific section when we added this pinned column into posts table. Okay, I think we are done this section. The next part is very, very important for real-world applications, which you're going to run on production. We're going to debug our application and understand how many queries are made, and we're going to optimize number of queries from several hundreds into just 10 or 12.